Hi, this is Michael Adams for CEO, Roaster, and Stock Telegraph. And yeah, I had to get in contact with Claudia again. You might remember Claudia from Dunnedin Ventures, trading on the TSX Venture as DVI. And the company just today announced an acquisition, which I want to get, of course, some more information from Claudia directly. So it's my pleasure to have her back on stage on this busy day for you, Claudia. So thanks for taking the time. And yeah, maybe we just dig into the presentation, which also is talking about the other projects, but especially about the one that you just acquired.
Thank you, Michael. Let me start with a quick overview of Dunnedin and of our projects. This slide shows them all. At the top right is the Kahuna Diamond project. That's the project we've been mostly known for and focused on over the last couple of years. And we have always had also a copper project called Trapper, which you see at the top right of the slide, sorry, top left. We had that project in our back pocket, but didn't do much work on it. And now over the winter, we have been very busy and acquired two further copper porphyry projects called MPD in southern British Columbia, and the acquisition we just announced the closure of Mohave. That's a copper porphyry project in Arizona. So we now have, in addition to the Kahuna Diamond project, 3 copper porphyry projects, and for 2019, most of our work will actually be focused on those copper projects. And you might wonder why we've made a bit of a pivot and are working less on the diamond side and more on the copper side. That's really driven by the market. There's a lot more investor interest and also interest from the majors in the space in good copper projects than there is in the diamond space. And for that reason, we are focusing our efforts primarily on our copper projects. Maybe as a start, a couple of words about the MPD project. That's the project we acquired in November. It is in southern British Columbia. The map here shows where it is located, which is one of the big points that attracted us to the project. It is situated in the Canal Trough, which is a producing copper belt in southern British Columbia. On this map, you see 2 other big copper mines, Copper Mountain in the south, and then further north, Highland Valley, both 2 producing copper mines, very sizable, and only a couple of kilometers from our MPD project. And another point I should highlight about this project is that it has been historically explored already. There have been different people drilling at different points in time over the last couple of decades. And so we have already a number of interesting historic drill results that give us a very good start already. So this is not a greenfields opportunity, it is advanced exploration. What we also really liked about that project is it is very cost-effective to explore. You see here the property, and the yellow line at the top of the map is a highway, Highway 97. And at the bottom left corner, you see another yellow line, that's Highway 5. So the project is literally just off the highway in a producing copper belt where you can get all the equipment, everything you need for an exploration project very cost effectively. So this will allow us, with a very limited budget, to put in place a nice exploration program that gives us a good shot at success and discovery. I touched already upon the historic drilling. As I said, different operators drilled over the span of several decades. This slide shows some of the historic drill results. I don't want to bore you with the details. Just the main point to take away here is that the grades we are seeing in these historic results are similar to what we will see at the producing mines nearby. So that's very promising. And that's why we will get drilling on this project very soon. My next picture shows an example of one of the holes we will drill in our upcoming drill campaign in June. And this slide actually got us very excited when we put all the historic information we received into a 3D model and then saw what we see here. Just as explanation, what you see here, this is a cross-section that shows some historic drill holes. The drill holes are these long, colorful lines, and the colors show the grade. Blue is nothing, and yellow is better grade, and then the red and pink zones are high grade gold and copper. And why this picture is very exciting, got us very excited, is you see at the top a number of shallow holes and high grade, this pink zone at the surface of the earth. And then the last drill campaign that was done in 2011 did, at the time the operator did those two long holes that you see, the vertical hole here and then this diagonal hole there. And what they found at the time is very interesting. They found, of course, the high grade that was already previously drilled at the surface. And then they drilled deeper, found nothing, but then they hit high grades again at depth. So this is down to, I think, about 300 meters. And the last 123 meters of this particular drill hole found a 0.25% copper. The grades got better as they got deeper, and that's obviously very promising. At the time, that was in 2011, at the height of the last commodities boom, and shortly thereafter, the market fell off the cliff and no further drilling was done. The predecessor company simply wasn't able to raise further funds, so the project essentially got stuck. And so that's where we are starting now. And for us, that's obviously a great starting point with all the historic results we have. The project is already significantly de-risked, and we're very much looking forward to twin this hole, for example, and we'll obviously drill deeper and then see what we can drill. So that's a summary of our MPD project, the project we acquired last year in November, and the first project we will drill this year. The results of that should be available in July. Couple of words also about our Trapper project. That's the project we have always had in our portfolio, even before we actually took on the Kahuna Diamond project. And this project was drilled by Dunnedin's predecessor company in 2011. And at the time, the results created quite a stir. The market cap of the company went up at the time to, I think, $80 million. And the results were very well received. I'll touch upon those results and why they created such a stir in a minute. Before that, just quickly where the project is located. You see it at the top right here on the map, top left, sorry. It is in the northern Golden Triangle, so that's also a very well established mining and exploration region in British Columbia. It is slightly more remote. It is not road accessible like the MPD project, and therefore a little bit more expensive to explore. For that project, we have a small sampling program planned in summer, and our strategy for this project is to look for a potential joint venture partner. And we have already had some interest, so we are looking whether we can find the right partner to take this project forward with us. This map shows some of the historic drill results from 2011. And what you see here is in the middle, the interpreted porphyry center. And at the time, the drilling was focused on gold. So it took place in the halo zone around the porphyry center. And you see on this map a couple of the gold valleys that were encountered. They were very high grade for a porphyry deposit, porphyry system. The best result was 34 meters of 1.7 grams per ton of gold, which is quite exceptional for a porphyry system. And that's the reason why at the time these results were so well received. This project as well, after 2011, the junior exploration market took a dip and went into a downturn, so not much further work was done, and we are starting up now this year again. And as I said, our strategy for this is to hopefully attract a good partner. So that was our second porphyry project, and now the Mohave project. That's the third porphyry project in our portfolio. That's the project where we just closed the acquisition. This map shows where it is located, which again is one of the key points why we were attracted to it. You see Mohave, the blue star there in the western part of Arizona. All the other orange squares are copper mines. Arizona is known for its copper production, so there are a number of very large copper mines in the vicinity. It's a well-known copper belt, and right next to Mohave, 30 kilometers to the east, is Freeport-McMoRan's Baghdad mine. That's one of the largest copper mines out there, which has been producing for many years. And Baghdad is a very close analog to Mohave. We see the same host rocks, the same type of mineralization on our project as is present at Baghdad, which is obviously great and very promising. Similar to our MPD project in British Columbia, Mohave is very accessible. That's a key point why we like it, and that's also the reason why exploration there will be very cost effective. You see here a map of the property, and at the top right of the map, the Highway 9 between Phoenix and Las Vegas. It's also just a mile or two from the highway to our property border. So very cost effective to get there and very cost effective to explore. A couple of the historic drill results from the property. This property had a small copper oxide mine in the 60s. You see here in the middle in the porphyry center. It was called Wikiup Queen. They mined high-grade oxide copper at the time. And at the time, they also did a couple of drill holes and discovered porphyry mineralization. This was a small mom-and-pop operation. Not much happened then for a couple of decades until in the 2000s, this project was drilled again in 2011. And some of the drill holes are shown here on the map. A very similar picture to MPD. What we see here is already quite promising. Similar grades to what you see at producing mines in the area. And so this gives us a very good head start, and we are looking forward to going back and drill this project in the autumn. So our strategy for our work program for this year is to drill our MPD project first, then do some sampling on our Trapper project. That's our work for the summer. And then Arizona, obviously the exploration season is more in the autumn and winter. So that's when we then will explore Mohave. And with this portfolio of our 3 projects, we are now in a position where we can drill year-round and generate results and news flow for our investors year-round. So that's, in a nutshell, what's on the cards this year for Dunnedin. It will be a very busy year, and we hope we can generate some good results. I think with these projects, with the historic results, we have a good shot at success and at discovery, and we hope we'll make this a good year for our shareholders.
No, sounds very interesting. So thank you very much, first of all, to give us this insight, and especially for the Mohave project, because you mentioned it's on the highway to Las Vegas, so at least you can entertain your staff on the weekends. But anyways, so Yeah, I think for some investors, yeah, this is really, as you said, it's kind of a pivot in the strategy of the company. But I don't really feel it is, because you already had the Trapper project, right? As you mentioned, you got the MPD last November, and now it's a third edition, and it's all, I wouldn't call them similar, because every project is individual, of course, but there's some similarities, yeah, as is pointed out. So they are, first of all, they're all in North America. They're in safe jurisdictions. Yeah, they're in mining-friendly states, as far as I understand it. They're all close to other producing mines. They all had some activity already on the project, so it makes sense for me. It's kind of it's not that you're going all over the place just to find something. So you just have a second focus. Yes, still a really good focus, but a second one, right? Instead of going all over the place. I would be upset if you came up and tell me, oh, now we have a lithium project in Australia, right? So that wouldn't. That some companies do that, as you know, right? Mm-hmm. So I think it's a really good strategy, and it's kind of a hedge for the shareholders, even for the shareholders that are in Dunnedin for the diamond play. We know the market right now is not in favor of diamond, and as you told me prior, is that you got told from the market, yeah, because you just also announced the closing of a financing just, I think, like a couple of weeks ago. So that was what some of your main shareholders told you, right? To expand a little bit on the copper side. Is that right?
That's a good summary, yes. The fact that we are focused this year primarily on copper doesn't mean we've given up on our diamond projects. We believe in the Kahuna project as much as we always did, but it's really a market-driven strategy. And what I hear from our shareholders and our investors is very much that they are more in favor at this time of copper than they are of the diamond asset, and in particular also because it is much more cost-effective to explore for copper, because those two projects in particular that we have, they are very accessible, so we need a small budget and we have a good shot at success. And exploring for diamonds, as you know, particularly in the north, is not cheap, and for that reason we are of the view that our shareholders' funds at this point are better deployed and have a better chance for a good return on the copper side than in the diamond side.
Yeah, and for full disclosure, I'm a shareholder too. So that's just my disclosure. I own shares in Dunnedin. I participated in the last round of financing that we just talked about. But maybe give us some more information about the financing that you just closed. How much money was raised at what price? So what's the cash position right now in the company?
We raised just under 1.5 million. And so we have now a little less than 2 million in the kitty, and we're fully financed for the exploration programs, for the drilling on MPD and on Mohave, and also the sampling program that we have planned for Trapper.
Okay, can you give us kind of a percentage? This is like a 40-40-20 split, or is there one main focus on one of the projects where you spend most of the funds?
Both the copper projects, Mohave and MPD, will be about 500,000 drill programs, so small 1,000-meter initial drill programs, and Trapper is only a small program.
Okay.
And so the main use of our funds will be on MPD and on Mohave, and yeah, as I said, I think we have a good chance of discovery.
Okay, and so did you already decide if you're going to do RC drilling or diamond drilling? And so you mentioned it's the drill program will be 1,000 meters on. Is that split into how many holes? So what are kind of the plans for the drill programs on both of the projects?
Well, the MPD project, we will be drilling very soon. So we have the permits all in place, the drill program all laid out. And we have 6 holes permitted, but what we will really drill will very much depend also on the success. This slide that I showed before, which showed the historic hole we will drill, that will be one of our first holes, the hole that the previous operator drilled and encountered good grades at depth and increasing grades at depth. So we will twin that hole and then drill deeper. And if you remember last year, one of our peers, GT Gold, they drilled also a porphyry project in British Columbia, and they released news of one drill hole of 1 kilometer of copper mineralization. Those porphyries, they can be very large and significant, and they can go very deep. So we will keep drilling that hole, and for as long as we hit mineralization. So if we are lucky with our first hole, we might just drill one hole. If we drill more, we can do up to 6.
Okay, great. And so you're going to twin the hole, as you just said, and maybe do some more or up to 6 holes. So this is to prove up the historic data, right? So because again, we can't rely on historic data. But my question would be, do you have access to all the historic information on the MPD and the Mohave project? So did it come with all the databases and that stuff?
Yes, both projects came with very good databases, not all digitized, but we've all now put this into a 3D model for MPD and Mohave. We are still in the process of doing so, but we're very pleased with all the information we have already, which gives us a big head start. And I wouldn't say we prove up the historic drill results. We really go beyond them. They give us a starting point and they point us towards where to drill, and they take out some of the risk because we know already where the previous operators have drilled and where they encountered good results but couldn't drill any deeper. That's what we will do. We will follow up these good results and then continue where the previous operator stopped.
Okay. My next question would be, I just had one in my mind, which I now forgot. I think when you so I came back. So you have been really active on the acquisition front, yeah, like within six months or so, like half a year, you acquired 2 really interesting projects. So how are you scouting for these projects? So did the former owners come to you, or did you actively look for the projects? Are you looking, or are you still looking for new projects for the right price point? Or so, is it like enough in your portfolio right now? So what's your feeling?
Well, the projects really came mostly through personal connections. It's really the MPD project is a prospector with whom we had worked for many years, who brought us the project. The Mohave project we acquired off a fellow discovery group company, Bluestone Resources. They had that project in their back pocket. It was their non-core project. And being part of this group of company, Discovery, which is a group of loose alliance of companies put together by John Robbins, a well-known mining entrepreneur in Canada. And Dunnedin is one of the Discovery Group companies. And being part of that group, of that strong group, is also obviously very beneficial in that it gives us access to good deal flow, also other benefits, like, for example, access to good technical people and so on. But yeah, it's really about being wired in the industry and knowing the right people that enable you to pick up the right projects. And that's a big part of our success, finding and being able to acquire good projects.
And some outlook, are you looking to acquire more projects?
We would, if we found the right project at the right price. We're not out there to acquire many projects in as short as possible as we can. It's very much of an opportunistic strategy. If we see a good project, for example, another copper porphyry project that we like, and that complements our existing portfolio, then we would consider an acquisition at the right price.
Okay, so to sum up, maybe we talk about the copper market. Yeah, it had some ups and downs. Yeah, there was a huge run some time ago. Now then a little bit of a decline. So, yeah, what's your feeling about copper in general, and especially copper in North America?
Well, the copper market, I think, is in for a very good run, because everything that has green in its name, electric vehicles, green energy, all of those things require a very large amount of copper. One of the large major CEOs just went out and said in their analysis, they think they came to the conclusion that the world will require as much copper in the next 25 years than it used in the last 500 years. Simply because of the huge increase in demand from electric vehicles, green energy. Obviously, China and India, urbanization and industrialization are also big factors there. So I think the fundamentals for copper look very good, and our experience from just talking to the majors in the industry is that they really are looking, all of them, many of them, for good copper projects, porphyry projects with size potential that can fill this demand that they see coming up in the future.
Okay, great. So maybe we talk just really as a last point, talk a little bit about, and I'm just switching here. So that's again the timeline which you laid out, yeah, where you're going to focus your activities for this year. And then this is the development of the share price and, of course, the market cap, which is fairly tiny, I have to admit, like 13 million. Yeah, so I would like to add a 0 to it, just being a shareholder. And I'm pretty sure that you're working on it. So are you feeling comfortable with the share price right now? Or do you think that now with this kind of refocus or additional focus on copper, which to my best knowledge, you didn't really go out telling the story about copper so far. Yeah, so far everything was about Kahuna and diamonds. And your first step to get the word out on the copper projects was actually you went on a European investor tour some time ago, right? And this was actually the first time that you really talked to institutional investors and high net worth individuals out of Europe about the copper strategy. Is that right?
Yeah, it's really this year that our effort is mainly focused on copper. And since the beginning of the year, really, once we had acquired our first copper project, MPD, my communications effort has been very much around what we're going to do on the copper side. If you look at our share price, it's very similar to many other junior miners' share charts. It's certainly a difficult market out there, but it is what it is. And I think that this year we have a good chance for some good results, and hopefully we'll make it a good year for our shareholders. And our share price will be higher at the end of the year than it was at the start.
Perfect. So I keep both both fingers crossed. How do you say? Anyway, so good luck with your efforts. I will, of course, continue to cover Dunnedin and the developments within my media, CEO Roaster and Stock Telegraph for the German-speaking audience. And I think that when you come up with the first results, which you indicated in summer, right? So when they come out, I think we should do another update. And in the meantime, again, please say hi to the whole team. Good luck with all your ventures. And talk to you soon. I would say, like, last words are yours.
Excellent. Thank you, Michael. Yes, as I said before, I'm very excited to go out and get drilling. It'll be only a couple of weeks before we're on the ground, and first results in July. And I have my fingers crossed tightly as well. And I'm looking forward to being in touch again with the results.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.